We want to call the meeting to order. This is the Monroe County Industrial Development Corporation Board meeting. We want to call the meeting to order. Get approval of the minutes. Motion to approve the June 14th minutes.
Motion to approve.
Need a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So, is Kevin here?
Yeah.
Get a sandwich first, Kevin.
Kevin never eats.
I'm gonna do it now.
Get a sandwich
Are
first.
you happy? All right, so if someone can take a place here.
Anywhere.
So I've got the June 2023 monthly report covering our business between the 1st and the 30th of June. During this period, we made 10 monthly site visits. We had 0 follow-up visits during that period. Checked a residency of 59 workers. There were no issues of non-compliance during this period. And there was 1 new MCIDC sign delivered to the Episcopal Senior Housing in Mirondequoit. Any questions?
Any questions for Kevin?
We're good. All right.
Thanks,
Thank
Kevin.
I will enjoy the sandwich. Thank you.
Next, we're going to have a report, a financial report. Greg?
Yep, and I'll be brief. Financials through 6 months, halfway through our fiscal year. But balance sheet, financial position statement, very healthy. Cash is down a little bit from where it was year end, just really mainly due to our expending more than we're taking in at this moment. Of that, balance of $4.4 million, all of those funds are in interest-bearing accounts. Now that's at earning about 3% where we are today. Our RLF loan receivable balances quite a bit more than they were last year at this point in time. And you'll see that as you look at the interest income that we're generating from those loans. All of our other payables and liabilities are expected and according to expectations. If you look at our revenue and expense summary compared to budget and actual, you'll see, our 504 program income is up compared to where it was to budget. Mainly, that was due to some of the funding fee that we received earlier in this year. The bank income, you can see that we're earning about, it just changed to 3%. We were at about 2%, so you'll see that's a significant difference where we have been historically. We'll talk more about that as the committee presents, and obviously the IDC loan income that we're generating from our portfolio is quite a bit more than have in the past. So overall, pretty decent 6 months for us. And then our program expenses, again, incentive programs we talked about, there's just less activity in our grades, from where it was historically and what we're budgeting. Our economic development, again, compared to budget, there's some things that we had budgeted for that are not, we just haven't, we had a little bit of capacity in there that we budgeted for. We don't know if that's gonna hit or if that's just a timing thing, we'll see. And our payroll is more than what we had budgeted for and historical due to the 2 folks we hired under the micro loan program. So overall, like I said, our loss is less than anticipated, less than it was last year. And like I said, I think, looking at the next 6 months, we'll probably anticipate that kind of repeating itself over the next 6 months. Any
We've
questions?
been paid on all bond stuff, we don't have anything sitting out there, right?
Yeah, right, nothing. Bonding fee income and
Yeah.
stuff like that, yeah, that's in that.
That's all.
I need those.
Yeah, there's one pending project for Episcopal that hasn't closed yet, but
Okay.
there's no, I don't think there's a receivable.
No.
Okay.
Any other questions for Greg? Well, we want to report that the executive committee just heard 2 outstanding proposals. Usually, when we vote on these proposals, we don't have the programs in attendance when we do that. But we're going to allow it today. I got a feeling something's gonna happen here. So, the Rochester Museum and Science Center's Career Ladders Program, they're seeking $50,000 for the Rochester Museum and Science Career Ladders Program for 1 year. And it has been recommended by the executive committee to push that forward. So I'd like to have a motion from the board, based upon the recommendation by the executive committee, to grant $50,000 to the Rochester Science Museum for their Career Ladders program.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Okay, you guys got it,
Thank you. Well done.
and you still can stay. Okay? The same for RTMA, Rock Your Hands event. We seen this event being put on last year. Bob showed us a very wonderful video in terms of this career exploration spread across, I think that was that Frontier Field or the soccer stadium? Soccer stadium, yeah. And they're seeking $10,000 with a budget that outlines what the $10,000 will be spent for. The executive committee thought that this was money that is well spent, and we did approve that. So we're seeking, as a recommendation by the executive committee to the board, $10,000 for the Rock Your Hand event, which is coming up October 3rd, 2023.
I'll move it. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? You got it, Bob.
Thank you. I am going to head back to work. I appreciate your time and thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna follow Bob's lead.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
And congratulations.
Thank you for the award as well.
Yes. All right.
Good day.
Yeah, have a good day.
Financial committee report, Jeff, you want to go?
Sure. Finance committee met at 11 o'clock today. We discussed mostly, as Greg mentioned, the extra cash that we have and our investment options for getting a better return than the 3% that we're getting on our sweep account. So Greg has proposed investing up to $3,150,000 to different T-bills laddered so that $525,000 is maturing each quarter in case we need to bring part of that money back into our operating accounts. He went through a cash flow running through May of next year. It seemed that that would easily support the operating cash with the shortfalls that are budgeted up to that point and forecasted for that point. So we made a motion to approve that he be allowed to take that money and invest it in various T-bills. So do we need it, Robin, does the board need to approve that too, or is it just the
Yes.
finance?
I got the motion here.
Perfect.
It's a motion to approve the investment strategy as presented by the CFO and recommended by the finance committee.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
No questions for you, Greg. Oh, good.
How's that?
We trust you.
That's all I need.
Well, you twisted my arm. Gee. Is there any more, let's go, I'm sorry here. Oh, the micro loan program update. Anna and Tony?
Thank you, Hanif. Yes, our team's been busy, first and foremost, promoting the program and also on the internally processing applications, reviewing applications. We've had in the hundreds of applications come through the door, and I'm gonna have Tony talk through the particulars and share some highlights.
Well, as I mentioned at last meeting, we had like over 200 net applications that came in a big rush. And as we were expecting, a lot of those were never gonna really go anywhere once they got the full picture that this was a loan and not just a grant. So there's, some will still need, supply some more information. We're working on, I guess, roughly about 30 of them right now, getting additional information. And 3 of those so far we did decline. We have about a half a dozen that are probably 95% there. We just have to get a personal credit report, which we've had some delays in getting that set up. Despite insurances, that will only take a couple of days. We're now over a month. Part of the holdup is, I guess, they need to have some kind of inspection of the facility.
It's the vendor?
Yeah, the vendor has a third party that does these inspections. And they're an out-of-town company. They're trying to find somebody local. I pitched several names at them. Look, we don't know what kind of accountants, bankers, attorneys. You know, we can have someone who could do this. I'm sure we're more secure than 95% of your clients. Anyways, it's still a delay on that while they try to find someone to come do an inspection. I tried sending them 10 different pictures of stuff. It wasn't working. So that's kind of delaying us right now, but we do have about a half a dozen stacked up that we've analyzed and have reviewed, and we're just waiting for confirmation that the personal credit's okay. Those 30 loans are about 1.3 million. They're not all going to close, but it's averaging about 43,000 per loan. A lot of the people go right for the $50,000 highest amount. Some even tried to go for more than that, but we've had to tell them no. A couple people we've also talked to, maybe Pat Stone, about partnering with, where they can go up to 50 easier. Above that is harder, but so someone who wants 100, we can kind of mesh together. So there's a couple different ones that we're talking to them about. And we think we got at least 3 of our 504 customers who are on our 2 newer loans, ones that are still just closing or about to close for Rising Stone Brewery, Sea Restaurant, and Teshia's Childcare. So far, Chad and Shamika have been doing well. You know, some of their first instincts are not to prove anybody, but you know, we kind of have them look at it and say, okay, yes, that's true, but here's some of the other things we'll look at. So they're, I guess as opposed to them wanting to just do everything quickly, I'd rather they be more conservative with it, and then if I can push them forward down a safe path, they'll work a little better. But, you know, we've been trying to set a lot of marketing to a calendar. People have done a bunch of outreach. We've gone on some of those with them, and done some of our own individually, and, you know, pretty much, you know, everywhere we're going to, we're trying to talk to people. I mean, I was at Zubru a couple of weeks ago. They had a credit union at Hanukkah. So I just happened to start talking to them. They do business loans too, so now we're setting up a meeting where we can talk to them. So it's kind of always on our mind. We're always kind of marketing that. So. And, you know, just letting some of the other people we work with, even a lot of the bankers have been interested because, you know, sometimes someone only wants a little bit. Maybe they kind of maxed out when they did the loan they did, and now there's a little more. They don't want to go back to it. They can bring us in, not worry about us stealing any of the business. We're not going for, you know, any deposit accounts, any cash management, any personal stuff with individuals. So we're safe that a bank can bring some of that work. So far, you know, I wish we kind of had some stuff on the books, but as soon as we can get the, if it goes any further, either I'm going to have to change vendors, or I'll just ask a couple of the people to start providing their own, telling them we're having a problem with our vendor, and if they can provide their own, just give us a credit score. We've actually done that a few times with the SBA stuff, because we can't do our own. And once the bank gives us one, if it delays and it's expired, they're not usually pulling another one. So that's usually how we get
first thing.
Yeah. So I guess that's where we're looking. We've had some people who, you know, just, it looks like they should have a lot of stuff behind them, but we weren't sure. And the declines are mostly all related to business losses, and deficit cash flow, and, you know, negative net worth. Things we just couldn't get enough of a hump with. I mean, there are some things you can bend a little if you got positive stuff the other way, but if you don't have cash flow, if you have losses, there's no repayments. Anyone has any questions? questions, general or specific.
Tony said about 30 that under review now, he said, and then 6 look kind of promising and kind of where they are
Yes.
available.
Yeah, so if they've been written up, reviewed, and we're just, I just need the confirmation that the personal credits. And some of those are working capital, there's some equipment, ones that handicap van.
What's been the reaction for ones that we've denied of the 100 in terms of pushback or questions or so forth, or pretty acceptance of the denial?
I haven't heard pushback since the letter went out. I know one of them, there were some conversations. This woman supposedly has a construction company, but 0 for 22, 21, and 20, very little bit for 19, and it just doesn't make any sense. It would have to be like a brand new start of a whole, and that's not happening.
So in terms of, obviously, in terms of the guidelines, we're being consistent in terms of if someone else came with a similar situation, just kind of what's going
Yes.
to work, so.
I mean, if I'm thinking of doing something easier, it's only because we've already done a full SBA analysis.
Right.
I don't think anybody would like their loan publicized, but it would be pretty cool to acknowledge the first loan given by the
Certainly
committee.
has, they want the
Yeah,
publicity, be us and it's publicity for them too.
free pizza or something like
So
that?
we'll ask for the first, we'll ask them the first few ones they get approved, if they're willing to.
Maybe kind of group them together and just kind of
Yeah.
public announcements. but
Yeah,
for all.
I think it helps the marketing and the integrity of the program.
Yeah. Agreed. And so far, we've been pretty good too at anyone
So-
who's done
Yeah,
MWBE,
yeah.
they've gotten the certifications. And Matt Burrell has been processing those pretty quick, so that's good.
Oh, good job.
Thank you, Tony, well done.
So we'll have an approval by next week, right?
As soon as we get the credit report, get that going.
No pressure.
Ah,
We'll definitely have some for the next meeting.
Any other business? Listen, I think I sent an email out that we were gonna have a softball team this year, and nobody signed up. Anybody interested? Yeah, I guess not. No other business.
You don't
We're
want me
looking
on that
for
team.
a motion to adjourn.
I'll move it.
Second, anyone?
Second.
All in favor?